Lagi mong sinisiguradong patas. Lagi mong inuuna kung anong dapat. Hindi mo kayang malunok ang katotohanang marami pa rin tayong kababayang gutom at walang tahanan. Kaya hindi ka tumigil sa paglaban. Harapin ang kahirapan. Tulungan ang nangangailangan. Basagin ang korupsyon na kanilang nakasanayan. Sa loob at labas, man ng Pinas, bakas na bakas ang iyong tapang puksain ang mga problema ng bansa. Gamit ang lakas, gamit ang isip, gamit ang puso. Kung para sa mamamayang Pilipino, si MP, wala yang sinisino. Manny Pacquiao.
Valoria goes left. Valoria flips it up and in! So hard on Lamar, but Lamar gets the step and the finish. Hail Mary. June Manzo will fire. Oh my goodness! June Manzo all the way from Serrano, Bejuelo, Serrano with the basket. Fuentes, no hesitation, gets it to go. No! Obisto, yeah! Jason Obisto with the putback!
For the second time this season, the Marikina Pilipinas Basketball League pays a visit to the beautiful city of Caloocan. Last time we were here, we saw the Batang Kangkalu. They were able to defeat Mindoro and defend their home court, and they will look to do that once again later on. But first, we have our first game of our triple header. The Quezon Huskers remain on top of the South Division, the reigning South Division champions. They will take on the winless Marikina Shoemasters, still searching for their very first victory, and that's our first game of our triple header. Quezon going up against Marikina, and then Pangasinan Heatwaves will take on the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, and to cap things off, the Pasay Voyagers will try to defeat itong Caloocan Batang Kangkalu. Magandang hapon po mga kaliga. Ken Pangilinan alongside Javi Palanya, and at courtside we have Miss Sydney Crespo. Javi, we talk about how stacked the teams are so far this season. Where does Quezon fit in that conversation?
Quezon, siyempre, ito ang reigning Southern Division champions natin, and they've already added a lot of more firepower this season. They've shown it in their wins so far, going up against top-tier teams, and you can expect them to dominate Marikina here today. But Marikina has also shown great fight against top-caliber teams here in the league, even though they haven't won a game. So maybe may chance ang Marikina dito, but Quezon for sure will try to dominate once again.
And of course, you could watch us live on our official Facebook page and on our YouTube channels. And also, you can watch us on Solar Sports on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Ngayon, Javi, tungo na tayo sa ating team standings. We're seeing here that in our both divisions here, eto Nueva Ecija so far on top, Pampanga, we'll see them later on. But again, dikit-dikit tayo so far.
Yeah, you know, you see a stack of teams there. In the middle, Pangasinan, Abra, San Juan, Caloocan, Val City, Quezon City, Ilagan. You even can consider Bataan to be in the middle of that mix. But Marikina still in the bottom tier of that team standings, 0-4. But they've lost close games this season to great teams, particularly the Pampanga Giant Lanterns and the Val City Magic in their last two games. Only lost to Pampanga by 2 points, lost to Val City by only 3 points. So Marikina, even if they don't really have the pieces yet, lagi naman silang lumalaban dito. Here in the Southern Division, Rizal has been super impressive to start the season, 4-0. But I've been talking to some of their players, sabi nila, hindi pa talaga nila masyado na-test out yung ibang malalakas na teams. Itong Quezon, they've managed to go up against Batangas and Cebu. These two teams are great foes in the Southern Division, so expect them to try and sustain their winning run as they progress into the season.
Well, pag-usapan natin, Javi, itong Quezon Huskers. Certainly, they have impressed so far despite that tough defeat in the finals against Pampanga. And here, no different, defending their home court, got off to an early lead against Binyan.
Yeah, here they lost LJ Gonzalez early in this game, but also they established their lead early because of the flurry of threes that everybody was able to contribute in. Judel Fuentes had a spectacular game in that one. Diego Dario came in the fourth quarter to really control that game when Binyan threatened to come back. They only cut down the lead to just 11 entering the final period when it was 18 points at the half. You see here the numbers, 15 out of 33 from the outside. Spectacular shooting from the whole Quezon Husker squad, and they did it through team passing. 27 assists para sa kanila, and they really limited Binyan to a low shooting percentage from the field. Talagang pinahirapan nila ang Tatak Gel na makashoot sa game na yan.
Jago Dario has certainly impressed for Quezon, and they look to win their 4th straight game, and hindi magiging madali because Marikina, despite their first 4 losses, 3 of them decided by 5 points and less, and this was the case in their game against Valenzuela.
Yeah, they could have easily been 3-1 right now actually. Ito Marikina Shoemasters lost to Manila by 4 points, lost to Pampanga by 2 points, Val City by just 3 points. This was their last game. The Magic were leading by as much as 28 points in that game, but they used a big 4th quarter run to be able to get back into the game and try to steal away that victory from Val City. They outscored the Magic 31-15 in that 4th quarter. They had a good showing from the free throw line, 16 out of 30 compared to the 17 out of 24 nitong Val City. And the points in the paint, they really dominated that despite the stacked front line of the Val City Magic in that game. So expect Marikina to try and have a better start dito sa laro na to para hindi na sila mapunta sa isang malalim na butas.
Let's see if Marikina can finally break into the win column. Let's turn you over now to Miguel Pere for our starters.
Welcome to the 2025 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 7. Today's first game features Quezon and Marikina. Here are the starters, beginning with the Quezon Huskers. Starting at guard number 20, Topeng Lagrama. Also at guard number 2, Judel Fuentes. Starting at center number 22, Joseph Gabayni. Forward number 93, Vince Magbuhos. And the other forward, number 25, Al Tamsi. Their head coach is Eric Gonzalez. Assistant coaches, Richie Dixon, Ed De La Torre, Luis Tolasco, Jonathan De Guzman, Nash Rosella, Bernard De Guia, and Jeric Tang. Team managers, Attorney Don Capunan. Now, the starting 5 for Marikina Shoemasters. Guard number 0, Jethro Escoto. Also at guard number 22, R.R. Casajeros. Coming in at center number 18, Steven Cudal. Forward number 6, Julius Tiburcio. And the other forward number 7, Carlo Velasco. The head coach for the Shoemasters is Eric C. Assistant coaches Joseph Achada, John Paul Basilan, Fernando Bunyag, Rain Mendoza, and June Filona. Team managers are AJC and Monroe Quezon.
All right, our starting 5 is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Quezon starts things off with Topeng Lagrama and Judel Fuentes at the backcourt. Up front, Joseph Gabayni, Vince Magbuhos, and Alfrancis Tamsis. Para naman sa Marikina, Jethro Escoto, R.R. Casajeros, Steven Cudal, Julius Tiburcio, and Carlo Velasco. So Marikina switching things up in their starting lineup, while etong Quezon, almost the same. Alfrancis Tamsi will look to carry on yung kanyang magandang performance in their last game against Binyan, and the tip going to the side of the undefeated Quezon Huskers.
Yeah, Tamsi top scored for the Huskers in that game, 16 points.
Parang mirror images of each other talaga.
Exactly. Jethro Escoto starting this game instead of coming off the bench along with Carlo Velasco. These two guys were instrumental in that late second half surge para sa Marikina against the Val City Magic.
Shot clock winding down. Escoto drills in that jumper to open up the scoring for Marikina.
And he wants to pick up from where he left off in that last game against Valenzuela. Ito si Jethro Escoto.
Fuentes on the right side, guarded by Casajeros. Skip pass to Lagrama. They send it to Vince Magbuhos for free, left it short.
Magbuhos has become a valuable addition to this Quezon squad. His ability to stretch the floor and make plays as well off the bounce have really worked wonders for Quezon and have provided a lot of depth sa power forward spot.
Quezon has yet to score. Fuentes trying to change that. Tapikan ng bola, mapupunta kay Carlo Velasco.
para dito sa Marikina, you could sense that there really is an urgency para sa kanila to have a good start in this game. Ayaw na nila maulit yung nangyari sa kanila laban sa Valenzuela.
Casajeros off the heel on that three. So both teams having trouble putting the ball in their basket. Nagrama swings it to Alfrancis Tamsi. Back to Topeng. Fuentes. Pull up. Finally cashes in from mid-range.
Marikina going to a zone there on that defensive possession, but I'm not too sure if Coach Eric is comfortable with Steven Cudalo on the wing trying to close out on shooters. Maybe he could switch Tiburcio to that side of the floor defensively if they're gonna stick to that zone to try and amply challenge those kinds of shots by Judel Fuentes.
Velasco trying to overpower Alfrancis Tamsi. As we see here, Judel Fuentes.
Yeah, that's too easy. You see a couple of dribbles and then the pull-up there by Judel Fuentes. Alam niya na mas mabagal sa kanya si Steven Cudal and he knew that he could take him on.
Casajeros gustong gayahin pero mintis yung kanyang jumper. The ball will stay on the side of the Shoemasters. Fresh 14 on their shot clock. Nasa loob na no si Mike Machon.
Yeah, 23 points in that game against Valenzuela.
His former team.
Exactly.
And actually, that was, as we see here, Carlo Velasco tried to get the basket pero offensive foul ang yung tatawag dito. I think he had the best season with Valenzuela, talking about Mike Machon.
Correct. Almost double-double numbers para kay Mike Machon in that last season with Valenzuela. There you see an obvious offensive foul galing kay Carlo Velasco, who was also a former Valenzuela player himself.
Pagbuhos, slides in. Nilabas muna kay Lagrama. Strong scored pass, Tamsi. Whips it to Judel Fuentes. Back to Tamsi for free. Good!
This kind of ball movement was exactly how Quezon was able to jeopardize the defense of Binyan in their last game, just looking for the best possible opportunity and waiting for the Tatakgel to commit mistakes. Talagang pinagod lang talaga nilang pinagod sa pasahan itong Binyan Tatakgel in their last game on their home floor.
Meanwhile, a foul call against Quezon as this three-point shot is brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. The former FEU Tamarao drilling in a free. Escoto at the line. Has all three of the points of the Shoemasters so far. Of course, Marikina missed the playoffs last season. And then season 4 and 5. Number 8 seed sila in the North Division. But lost to both the eventual champions, Nueva Ecija and Pampanga in back-to-back seasons. 5-3 is our score. More than 3 minutes gone by in the opening frame. Lagrama fixed off the pass. That right corner has been really friendly para dito sa Quezon, but that time Fuentes could not convert.
Interesting that Marikina continues to stick to that zone. And actually, I'm wondering why they even made it a part of their game plan to begin this match, considering how well Quezon shot from the outside in their game against Binyan. Remember, they had 15 threes against the Tatakgel last Saturday. So it puzzles me as to why they're still having this zone and trying to dare Quezon to shoot from beyond the arc this afternoon.
Especially you have guys like Lagrama, Tamsi, Fuentes.
And then a lot of guys off the bench who are also very capable of shooting the outside shot. Gabanal is there, Diego Dario is also there. Joshua Hierro can also knock it down from the outside. JP Sarao is also very capable of taking that outside shot.
Gabayni, tatanggap. Nilabas muna kay Lagrama. Binabantayan ni Casajeros. Tamsi, this time from the left wing. Second three-pointer for Alfrancis Tamsi.
I'm still really waiting for that stretch of games na talagang mainit ito si Alfrancis Tamsi. We've seen 1 or 2 games pero hindi niya nagagawa at a very consistent rate because of the number of injuries he's had to deal with over the past couple of years. But we know that Alfrancis Tamsi is very much capable of being an explosive scorer here in the league.
Casajeros in traffic, no good. One and done for the Shoemasters. Tamsi, the fake. Fuentes bouncing it in but stolen away by Casajeros. Velasco aatake. Rebound by Joseph Gabayni.
He had the right idea in mind, but I could have suggested that he would have had a better take if he took one more step in. But there you see Vince Magbuhos getting a terrific pass galing kay Judel Fuentes, who has really improved in terms of his passing here with the Quezon Huskers.
Our assist of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. And that three-point play gives Quezon a 7-point lead here, 10-3 early in the first quarter.
Para sa 100%'ong pag-unlad, 50 si Manny. Para sa 100%'ong pagbabago, 50 si Manny. Para sa 100%'ong
Al Francis Tamsi, as I mentioned earlier, is really a bona fide scorer. When you get him in a position to score, actually, even if he is not in a position to score, he will find a way to improvise. That's what he's been known for ever since his days in Cebu and then when he transferred to FEU. Kaya lang dito, he had to take a step back because ang dami niya ng mga kasama dito na kaya na rin pumuntos. By the way, Ken, we'd like to give a shout out to JR Navarro. Boss JR Navarro of the
Siyempre
Junior
naman.
MPBL. He's watching right now. Boss, good afternoon and happy viewing.
Ayan. 10-3 is our score after that miss by Magbuhos. JP Sarao is in for the Huskers. At may foul na ipipito laban dito sa Quezon. And going back to Al Francis Tamsi, tagal na nilang magkasama ni Coach Eric eh.
Yes, that partnership has really been sustained throughout the years. Pati rin si Coach Richie Tixon.
Yeah. And even prior to the pandemic, he played for Iloilo
Yes.
under Coach Eric Gonzalez.
Oh, that's a travel.
So almost a decade no, in the pro leagues.
Well, yan naman talaga ang isa sa mga traits ni Coach Eric. He's always very loyal to the players who are also very loyal to him. Binabalik niya lang naman yung trust na binibigay ng mga players sa kanya.
Diego Dario making his first appearance in this ball game as well as Simon Sandagon. Gab Banal is also in. So a totally new unit para dito sa Quezon Huskers.
But equally potent offensively, Ken.
Dario serving the floor. Hierro. Sarao facing up. Lays it up. No good. Ball will remain on the side of Quezon. Fresh 14 on their shot clock.
It's really going to be a long afternoon in this game for Marikina's front line, trying to defend the multiple options that Quezon has.
Banal has struggled so far this season. The former MVP passing it to Diego Dario off the heel on that three-point attempt.
At for Gab naman kasi, ang importante yung presensya niya eh. You know, for Gab, he already knows his role dito sa team na to. Alam niya na marami nang kayang pumuntos dito and he doesn't really have to do a lot offensively. But of course, when his number is called upon by Coach Eric Gonzalez, he is always more than ready to contribute. At alam mo naman na si Gab, hindi kanya ipapahiyain yan.
And ano to eh, born leader talaga to si Gab. And certainly, his skill set and leadership, very vital dito para sa Quezon. As he tries to guard with 10 seconds on their shot clock. Machon facing up against Gab Banal. Automatic on that mid-range jumper.
It's about time they gave Mike Machon an option to shoot. He is, after all, their best offensive threat at the big man position. Carl Peñano is also one guy that has stepped up to the plate the past couple of games para sa kanila.
Back-to-back turnovers against Quezon. Escoto leads it up to Mike Machon but ran out of space there.
Medyo alanganin yung naging pasa doon ni Jetro Escoto. Yeah, as a point guard, you have to realize that it's not about just pushing it forward. You also have to see kung Maganda ba ang posisyon ng papasahan mo? Masikip ba? Meron ba siyang enough space to be able to receive the pass? Oh, that's a dribbling violation.
Yep, Patrick Di Mayuga committing that miscue there. But you like the energy of Marikina, Javi, so far. At least in the past couple of sequences.
Yeah, if you're Coach Eric C, at least nakakadikit ka dito against Quezon. You know, Quezon has been able to blow out a number of their opponents to start the season. Actually, lahat ng mga kalaban nila, natambakan nila. JP Sarao has been a vital part of this rotation this season. A new addition for the Quezon Huskers. Ito si JP Sarao coming on over from the Parañaque Patriots, but has a lot of experience already here in this league. And, you know, JP playing behind different veterans in the past has really helped him in terms of his experience, and now that he's thrust into this kind of role with Quezon, talagang makikita mo na handang-handa na talaga siya for it.
Yup, had stints with Muntinlupa and Nueva Ecija, giving Quezon a 5-point lead here, 12-7, as we approach the 3-minute mark of the opening quarter. Peñano lost the ball. Capanal gets it. Hierro in transition. Three-pointer on its way off.
I'd rather have Joshua Hierro shooting catch and shoot threes rather than pulling up for those outside shots.
Velasco goes at the post to Peñano. Again guarded by Sarao. Imayuga, quick three, off to the right. Velasco and Gabbanal getting entangled there. Let's see, what's the call here? Offensive foul ba? Or because bolan ng Quezon when Banal committed that foul. I think it's going to be an offensive foul.
Yeah, so it should be Marikina basketball. Pero nalito tayo kasi yung signal ng referee una
O, yun nga eh.
dito sa Marikina eh. Ay, dito sa Quezon.
See here, of that rebounding battle.
Yeah, it was a late call.
Nonetheless, Marikina gets the basketball here. But shot clock winding down. Only 4 seconds left. Imayuga. That shot pops out. Rebound, Gabbanal. 5-point lead for the Huskers. Abundo is now in. Dario on the right side. Attacks the paint. Tried to turn the corner. But off that pass, may pinitong foul laban dito sa Marikina.
I thought Dario already was in motion to go for a shot there. Not ever the unselfish player, Diego Dario, trying to set up Alvin Abundo on that deep left corner. But because both teams are already in the penalty, he has a chance to score his first 2 points of this game at the line.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Diego Dario, 13 points, 4 assists in 20 minutes in their game against Binyan.
He absolutely went at it with Renzo Sobido in that second half. You know, he was extra motivated going up against a familiar foe, someone who he went up against in college, of course, during his UP days and when Renzo was with UST.
That shot hit nothing there by Failona.
But now Marikina suddenly going into hurried shots. Maybe better for them to try and use more of their shot clock to get better opportunities at the basket.
Sarao drives baseline. Bong Basco is in para dito sa Shoe Masters. At agad siyang mapipituan ng foul dito. I think both teams are already over the limit.
I don't really know about that. I think that foul was a little bit too thin. I thought JP Sarao ran out of space there.
Actually lost his balance there. JP Sarao played for St. Francis of Assisi College. And solid numbers, no? When he played for Parañaque last season, 10
Yes.
points, 4 rebounds. Pinahirapan din nila yung Quezon during their first round matchup in the South Division quarterfinals. Actually, was that the semifinals? Yeah.
Yeah, because they were able to upset Zamboanga in the
Yes.
first round.
Doon sila nagtapat in the second round. Meanwhile, 15-7 po ang ating talaan. 8-point lead. Nakaagaw na naman ang Quezon. And the layup by Dario doesn't work. Rafgo is in. Stop and pop jumper. Mintes. Dario now. Solid screen by Sarao, freeing up Diego for the free.
He's always going to be ready to hit those open looks. Diego Dario is one of the most hardworking people I've ever met in my life. Simula pa nung magkakilala kami in high school, Diego has always been a gym rat.
Oh, Rafgo, that's a tough shot. Able to make it. Former Letran Knight. JP Sarao slithers in, gets the friendly roll.
It's just been too easy for JP Sarao so far this afternoon. Mason, Basco, Go. They somehow could not find any recipe to stop ito si JP Sarao.
JP Sarao already with 6 points. Pailona on the left side. Post down low to Mike Mason, backing down Simon Sandagon. Oh, sweeping hook is good.
He really has added a lot of moves to his arsenal. Ito si Mike Mason.
The Samar native cutting this lead down to 9, 20-11. Last shot time para dito sa Quezon. Banal, quick free, way off. And that's gonna do it for the first 10 minutes of game action. They will check this.
Wow.
Namin na natin nakitang ganyan, Habs.
We have seen a lot of half-court. No, more than half-court eh. Mga three-quarter court shots rin eh. And we're still early in the season. So, who's to say that we can't see more of those?
Let's see here. Will it count?
Oh, no, it's not gonna count. Sayang. Ang ganda sana.
Enable pa eh. Still in his hands when the buzzer sounded. Still a good shot, good attempt. Sayang, pang-top 10 play sana. But nonetheless, Marikina just down by 9, 20-11 at the end of quarter number 1.
Para sa 100%'ong pag-unlad, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100%'ong pagbabago, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100%'ong paglilingkod, 15 si Manny. Kanipaya. Para sa 100%'ong Pinas,
50 tayo! 50 si MD! Hati mo, si Manny!
Welcome back to the MPBL. Quezon is happy with their wins on and off the court this year. On the court, their victories have been more decisive compared to last season, while off the court, their new talents have been a great fit for their culture and system. Kwento nga ni LJ Gonzalez, who is sitting out today's game due to his sprained ankle, hindi na ako masyadong napapagod. Talking about his deeply talented squad. Para kay LJ, there is no problem sharing his minutes, lalo na ang dami pa rin daw niyang natututunan sa kanyang teammates at mga kuya who he said have better experiences than him. Although aminado si LJ na kinabahan siya sa landing niya last game because he already had a minor operation on the exact same foot last December 2023. LJ is targeting a return next game. Aabangan natin yan. Ken, Javi?
Maraming salamat, Sid. And LJ Gonzalez made a free before coming out after that injury. But, to Sid's report, that talent that Quezon has, sobrang lalim nitong roster nito ni Coach Eric Gonzalez.
And marami pa tayong di nakikita galing sa kanila. Remember, they also have some players in the reserve list who may be activated middle of the season. So aabangan natin yan. This team is really so deep. Every player can contribute at any given time.
Abundong, Mintis yung kanyang press. Tapigan ng bola. Sandagon tried to clean it up. Oh man, the spring in his step. Simon Sandagon. Romel Landayan making his first appearance. Kasama niya si Bong Basco, Failona, Rafgo, and Mike Mason. Field goal shooting, both teams. Marikina shooting 33% while 7 out of 19 naman itong Quezon Huskers. Simon Sandagon lays it up and in. 4 straight points.
Had it not been for Joey Landayan underneath that basket, that would have been a sure slam from Simon Sandagon.
Landayan rejecting the screen. Rough go. Quick catch and shoot. No. Rebound by Quezon. RJ Minerva, Gab Banal, Diego Dario, Alvin Abundo, and Simon Sandagon, the 5 on the floor for the Huskers. Dario Mintes, 24-13, 11-point lead para dito sa Quezon.
Jagos missed 2 open looks from almost the same area.
Our play of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Ang sarap talaga kung may Simon Sandagon ka na tatakbo lang, papasahan mo. Such a luxury and such a treat to be able to have him on your squad.
Tiburcio is back in for Coach Eric C. Mashon jacks up a 3. Wild shot there.
That's another shot early on their shot clock. Oh,
Nice
Oh.
find. Tiburcio blocked it up top pero may foul down low.
yeah, I think it's gonna go against Mashon.
Yep, Mike Mashon guilty of that foul.
Na late doon yung help defense ni Julius Tiburcio that made Mike Mashon go for that little push from behind, but could have been a good defensive stop para sa Marikina.
Simon Sandagon from Cabusao, Camarines Sur. 8.4 points, 5.7 rebounds last season with Quezon. But boy, as we see this free throw brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Jomel Landayan, down low to Mike Mashon. 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Smart play by Mike Mashon.
Interesting matchup that we have here at that 4th spot, Ken. Mashon against Simon Sandagon. Mashon, not really much of an athletic player, but he's a guy who has a lot of moves. Kaya kang pagurin at the post. He can face you up. He can also put the ball on the floor and can shoot from the outside. While Simon Sandagon, obviously, we've already seen so many highlights galing sa kanya, and he's already improved his reads in a game. So, mas matalino na siya this year, and mas decisive na siya sa mga gusto niyang gawin.
Mashon, a split from that 15-foot line. So this remains a double-digit lead para dito sa Quezon. Abundo. Pagaran is in. Former perpetual standout. Abundo rejects the ball screen. Pagaran for 3. Good! Plus the foul.
I love the height on the jump shot. Galing dito kay Christian Pagaran. That was challenged by Mike Mashon. He had his hand up, pero I think bahagyan niyang binaba after the release na natamaan niya ito si Pagaran. That prompted our referees to call that foul.
So, nag-hesitate siya, hindi full closeout.
Yes.
Tinitignan nila no, kung this meets the criteria for an unsportsmanlike foul. Let's see. Miguel Pere will announce the official verdict here. Bakers doesn't lead. Para dito sa Quezon.
Goal for Christian Pagaran. Unsportsmanlike foul on number 1, Mike Mashon. That's his 3rd foul.
Landing spot eh. Let's see here. Ayun o. Really, that was a dangerous play because Pagaran napakan yung ankle ni Mike.
For me, that call is up in contention because you could also argue that Pagaran was jumping forward.
Nonetheless though, 4-point play completed by Christian Pagaran. The Huskers doubling the output of the Shoemasters so far, 28-14. Tagle is in. One of the homerowns for the Huskers. Bagaran, same spot, different result this time. And off that rebounding battle, may foul na pinito laban dito sa Quezon.
So Marikina so far has only let Quezon have 4 3-pointers in this game. But if you're the Shoemasters, that's already quite a lot if you're trying to get back into this game. So you have to double down on defense. I'm not sure, maybe change up that 1-3-1 defense that you continue to apply on defensively. Try to shift to a man. But, you know, maybe Coach Eric C. is trying to make sure that his players don't commit a lot of fouls because baka yun ang mangyari pag nag-switch sila sa man-to-man.
One and done by the Shoemasters on that trip. Joshua Hierro, three-pointer is no good. Defensive rebound.
But the problem with staying in this zone, yes, Quezon may not be shooting as good as they were when they went up against Binyan, but they have not been able to secure those defensive rebounds here in the second quarter. In the first period, they were able to out-rebound Quezon by 2. But here, they've had a problem securing those defensive boards.
Landayan, great move. Pinoy step. Ooh, almost. But he'll head to the line for 2 shots.
Nice hesitation on the in and out by Jomel Landayan. And everything but the shot. That Pinoy step was well played, well calculated move coming from the point guard.
Steven Godal is in for Marikina, replacing Mong Basco. Jomel Landayan at the line. Did not play against Val City, as we'd like to thank LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. Actually, had a breakout performance against Abra. 22 points, 3 assists, 3 steals. Prior to that, his previous career high was 12 points, which he did 3 times last season. 2 for 2 at the line.
One of the only holdovers of Marikina from last year. Ito si Jomel Landayan.
And he gets the rebound off that Minerva miss. Quezon up by a dozen here. Landayan. Escoto, quick free, no good. Foul against Marikina. It will go against Steven Tudal.
And they still could not find any solution to this front line of Quezon. Big men of the Huskers have been giving the Shoemasters all kinds of problems here on the floor.
Agaran, swing pass, Tagle, right corner free, good.
What a very unselfish play. Credit Christian Pagaran for that pass. He knew that Eman Tagle was coming off the bench, needed to try and get his legs under him, had the opportunity to pass it off and get Tagle an open look, and knocking down the three-pointer for Quezon.
Landayan could not answer that free, but they get the ball back. Then on their shot clock, Tomel slithers in but lost control of that basketball. Still a 15-point lead. This 3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. Good-looking stroke from Eman Tagle.
Homegrown for the Huskers. Been part of this team since last year, but has not really seen a lot of playing time due to the amount of talent that he is surrounded with at his position.
Meron tayong coach's challenge galing dito sa Marikina. And we'll pause for a break. We'll return for the result of this challenge.
Referee's initial look was it was off the leg of Jomel Landayan.
Almost at the halfway point of the second quarter here. Landayan receiving the pass. Navigating through that Kudal pick. Takes that free and makes it.
I think it's going to be up to Jomel Landayan and Jetro Escoto to really try and spearhead this comeback attempt by Marikina here in the second quarter. Oh, what an athletic drive there by Christian Pagaran.
Gets fouled. A lot of fouls against Marikina.
Nice crossover. Landayan making his man pay for going under the screen.
Christian Pagaran at the line. Played for Coach Mike Sagigit for Perpetual. 3-point shooting natin, no? A paltry 1 out of 11 para dito sa Marikina. 5 of 17 naman para dito sa Quezon.
Yeah, that last 3-point shot by Jomel Landayan was their first this afternoon.
Pagaran doesn't get the friendly bounce on the second. 12-point lead, 31-19. Landayan just oozing with confidence right now. The hand off to Escoto. Back to Landayan, peeking at the clock. It reads 7. He attacks, one-hander, no good. But back to the line.
You love how aggressive he is. Talagang dinadala niya na lang yung opensa ngayon ng Marikina because Quezon has done a wonderful job of really shutting down the options on those schemes by the Marikina Shoemasters. So Jomel Landayan many times here in the second quarter has had to improvise and create for himself and for his teammates.
Openg Lagrama back in for Quezon, as well as JP Sarao. Coach Air Gonzalez bumubunot pa rin dito sa kanyang malalim na bench.
Yeah, that's been the thing with Quezon over these past couple of years. They have always been shuffling people around in very quick increments during games. He knows that he has a lot of talent on the floor, but it's nice that his players also understand his coaching style na pag pinasok sila, they give their 100%. Kasi alam nila na maikli lang yung magiging oras nila, posible sa sahig.
And some players do not adjust well to that kind of setting.
Exactly. And you know, it's surprising sometimes when you think about it when you see that it's these kinds of players that are able to adjust to this kind of coaching style, considering that all of these players are really top caliber players. Marami sa kanila come from good college programs. A lot of them have been star players here in the league, particularly Gab Banal, a former MVP here in the MPBL. But everybody is willing to sacrifice opportunity for the betterment of the team. They know that there is a bigger goal, and that is to win the national championship.
It takes a lot of trust, a lot of commitment, and sometimes the right mix of players, coaches to make it work. Escoto mintes yung kanyang unang free throw.
And there's no doubt about it that they do have the right mix. Maybe just trying to still feel their way into this season. Well, they have a good start so far ngayong taon, and they're really feeling good about their roster for this year with the various additions that they've had. At meron pa nga tayong hindi nakikita.
Fuentes, quick catch and shoot from downtown, no good. Sarao at the post. Ilabas muna kay Tamsi. Oh, but di sila nagkaintindihan doon ni JP.
No, I think he was waiting for Fuentes to pop out on that left corner. But Fuentes kind of short-circuited into that short corner. Kaya hindi niya natuloy yung pasa ng maayos.
Landayan. Oh, great Hesse. Kick out pass. Carlo Velasco. Line drive does not work. Lagrama quickly. Dipsy-do attempt. Mintes, and ball will go back to the side of Marikina.
Definitely still one of the more exciting players here in the league. Topping Lagrama, almost coming up with another highlight there.
31-21. Marikina still in it despite their poor shooting from the outside. Landayan bouncing it inside. Escoto, offhand floater, no. But foul will be drawn against, I think, si Joseph Cavani magbibituan dito.
One of the few players in the league who is left-handed that can finish with either hand, either on layups or on floaters. Layups, maintindihan ko pa. A lot of players, that's really kind of basic already. Pero in terms of floaters, medyo mahirap yan maging ambidextrous.
Ikaw din ba ganun, Habs? Kaliwete ka din eh.
Mahilig ako pumili sa kanan, pero di ko kaya yung floater ng kanan eh. I mean, I can do it sometimes, but not at a consistent rate, just like Jetro Escoto.
Escoto sinking both free throws.
One guy for sure I know can finish with both hands on hook shots is the guy they call Captain Hook, Mac Macardona.
Oh, of course. Just an 8-point lead. Tamsi. No good. Gabaini with another offensive rebound. Almost lost it, but Tamsi able to recover and score.
This has been the problem for Marikina. You know, they try and make a run, but somehow they give up an easy basket on the other side. So consistency is still one of the problems for this young Shoemasters team.
But the effort definitely there. Generating a lot of steals. There's a wet spot on the floor. Tiburcio traveled on that last play. Our assist of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Na-late doon si Carl Peñano because everybody was paying attention to Gabaini on that left side. They did not notice that Tamsi was already sneaking into that dunker spot.
Marikina still sticking with this zone defense here. Tamsi creating space, knocking down his third triple.
And that's three-pointer number 6 in the game right now para dito sa Quezon Huskers. And Tamsi had 4 3-point shots against Binyan in their last game.
Picking up from where he left off, Mark Maloles, his second game for Marikina, at 6 points in his opening game for the Shoemasters. Fuentes, libreng-libre, but that one rattles out. Marikina dodged a bullet there. Escoto. Inabas muna kay Mike Machon. Another attempt from free. Way off. And Peñano caught stepping out of bounds.
I really feel that they should mop the court. Alam, parang maraming wet spots eh.
Usually pag first game, ganyan yan eh. Nung sa Nueva Ecija kami, ganyan din yun eh. Their first game, players having trouble gaining their traction. Fuentes, great fake, but can't convert. Sarao, getting them another possession, but Gabaini loses it. Ooh, unsportsmanlike foul
Yeah,
against Quezon.
they have a good case for that. That's what they used to call an advantage foul or what they call in football offside. Tama ba ako? Ganyan yung offside,
No
diba?
familiar sa football, sorry.
Okay.
Let's see.
Because there definitely wasn't anybody ahead of him.
Kung si Sedel partner mo, sigurado masasagot yung tanong
Yun na
mo.
nga eh. By the way, we'd like to give a shout out to Sedelf. Boss, good get well soon sa'yo ah.
Fuentes is first.
Kasama mo lang siya kahapon, di ba?
Yeah, he said he's feeling under the
Ah,
weather
okay.
daw.
So, normal foul lang, no? No. Actually, they uphold that initial call. So it meets the criteria for an unsportsmanlike foul.
But Maloles missing on the first. Yes, kasi walang Husker na nasa harap niya eh. It was only, I think Escoto was kalinya ata sila or a little ahead of him.
Split at the line for Mark Maloles. Quezon up by a dozen. Coach Eric Gonzalez. Coach Nash Racela. That partnership, taon na pinagsamahan itong dalawang to as we see Carlo Velasco making his move, taking that free, making it, and cuts the lead back to single digits.
And not always your best three-point shooter, but he can definitely hit that occasionally. Only the second three this afternoon para sa Marikina, but it's shots like that that have kept Marikina at striking distance this afternoon.
Sarao fakes that pass, gets the basket plus a foul.
I still don't understand why Marikina cannot change their defense. Obviously, it has given them a lot of problems this afternoon. Why not try and go for a different kind of defense para siguro mabulaga mo naman ng konti dito yung Quezon, because they've been playing with this 1-3-1, 2-3 zone for almost the entire game.
Sarao completes the three-point play. Balik sa 12 ang lamang ng Quezon dito. About a 6-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Carlo Velasco, catch and shoot, way off. Gabay need the rebound. In transition, Quezon, bounce pass, Fuentes, the jelly on that layup. 10 seconds remaining. Escoto peeks at the clock. Mashon. Tough shot in traffic. Gets it back, natapikan. And that's gonna do it for the first 20 minutes of game action here. And Quezon with a late mini run here in the second quarter. A 5-0 run to cap off quarter number 2 as Marikina still searching for their offense here. And kanina, they were just down by single digits. Now, at the half, Quezon Huskers in front by 14, 41-27.
Lagi mong sinisiguradong patas. Lagi mong inuuna kung anong dapat. Hindi mo kayang malunok ang katotohanang marami pa rin tayong kababayang gutom at walang tahanan. Kaya hindi ka tumigil sa paglaban. Harapin ang kahirapan. Tulungan ang nangangailangan. Basagin ang korupsyon na kanilang nakasanayan. Sa loob at labas, man ng Pinas, bakas na bakas ang iyong tapang puksain ang mga problema ng bansa. Gamit ang lakas, gamit ang isip, gamit ang puso. Kung para sa mamamayang Pilipino, si MP, wala yang sinisino. Manny Pacquiao.
Para sa atlitang Pilipino.
Para sa kabataang Pilipino.
Para sa kababaihan, para sa pamilyang Pilipino.
Para sa kinabukasan. At ito po ang MPBL Party List number 77 sa balota.
Para sa 100% pag-unlad, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100% pagbabago, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100% paglilingkod, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100% Pinas,
50 tayo, 50 si MB. Kahati mo, si Manny.
They out-rebounded Marikina by 4, 29-25, and they've done it once again through good ball movement, 13-5 in the assists department.
And although it's still a small sample size, but Quezon is #1 in the league in terms of points allowed, only 51.7. So that stingy defense coming into play once again in the first half para sa kanila.
I think that's one thing that the coaching staff and the management of Quezon made sure that they address coming into this season. They're already very aware of the offensive talent that they have. They have a lot of those scorers here in this team, and they added even more to this roster for this season. Pero ang alam nila, just like, you know, the usual adage that we hear, alam kong gas-gas na to, but it still is the very truth that we adhere to. Defense wins championships. And when you play good defense, it doesn't matter how bad your offense is. If you play defense and limited the opposing teams down to a low score, then you have a good chance of winning ball games.
Empty trip para dito sa Quezon. Escoto, kick out pass. Julius Tiburcio has yet to score. And that's a foul on the floor against Quezon. So the 5 on the floor for Marikina, you have Mark Maloles. You have Filona there. Julius Tiburcio, Mike Machon, and Escoto.
Maybe it's about time that Marikina sets up Mike Machon in spots where he can be successful.
And we haven't mentioned this, but Nem de la Cruz is not playing para dito sa Marikina. As you see that three-pointer zigged in by Julius Tiburcio.
Tama ka dyan. He's, I think, on the injured list for this game. But he is there behind that Marikina bench this afternoon. That's one less scorer para sa kanila. And Nem also played a pivotal role in that comeback attempt of Val City, or rather against Val City in their last game. So that's also been a problem para sa Marikina, who will step up into the production of Nem de la Cruz sa laro na to.
So they're losing their 2 leading scorers in Nem de la Cruz and Jonel Bauzon. That's why they only put up 27 points in the first 2 quarters.
Oh, by the way, congratulations again to Jonel Bauzon. I think he already got married kahapon yata yun or the other day. That's why he's not to the team yet.
Ayun. Nasa honeymoon pa.
Oh. But yun, I mentioned during that game against Val City, they really certainly wished that Jonel Bauzon was with the team that day dahil tatlo na lang ang naging talo nila nun, and what could have been if he was part of that roster for that game.
Filona, shot clock winding down. 3-pointer is good. Back-to-back freeze for Marikina to open up the third.
Oh, nice start here from the outside for Marikina, trying to replicate the effort that they had against Valenzuela, although this lead was not as big as what they faced against the Magic, which... Oh my goodness!
Two-handed throwdown sana, no? Mark Maloles.
Yep.
Offensive foul.
Put down his shoulder. Obvious call.
Manal taking it right to the chest.
Take a look at this. Pagaran getting a good pass inside to RJ Minerva, who tried to deliver that touch feed to Simon Sandagon for what could have been another slam dagon.
Ikaw ba nag-point nun, Javi?
Yes, ako nag-point.
8-point lead. Dario, skip pass to Pagaran. Finger roll, gets the bounce.
Pagaran looking like a nice role player off the bench para sa Quezon here in this game. A guy who can score buckets inside or outside.
Maloles, three-point shot on its way. Off to the right, Pagaran clears it for Quezon. Great pass, here he is.
Oh, that's a nice foul by Tiburcio.
Yep, good hard foul.
Although from a fan's perspective, we were robbed of a highlight, but still in terms of a basketball play, I will give a tap on the back to Julius Tiburcio.
Our play of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Dagon at the free throw line. 44-33 Quezon. 5 points for number 5. Looks like meron bang blood, no?
Yeah, I think on his left arm.
So they will try to clean it up. But I think papalitan muna siya dito, no?
Yeah, that's a mandatory sub.
Does the first free throw count, though?
It should.
This is what our referees will sort out because he already took the first free throw, made it.
Yeah, so Magbuo should just come in and shoot the second. That shouldn't be something that they should go over still. Because they noticed the blood after the conversion on the first free throw.
So yun, isang free throw na nga lang, no? For Vince Magbuhos, who played for Nueva Ecija last year. Simon Sandagon being attended to at the bench. Magbuhos can't get that one. Lane violation laban dito sa Quezon.
Imagine mo, Ken, handful na ang frontline ng Quezon ngayon pa lang. But we still haven't seen Jason Opiso in this game, who is on the inactive roster. Will Gozum has not yet seen action para sa Quezon since being injured, which I heard pala, Will Gozum is already back in full contact practice, so they're still waiting for him to get back into game shape, but very soon he will be making his return for the Quezon Huskers in the MPBL.
That's a great development for them, especially with how bad that injury looked last season. Steal by Quezon. Diego Dario in transition. Puts his head down, setting up Pagaran.
Oh.
Battle for the rebound, controlled by Vince Magbuhos. Minerva, skip pass. Dario asking for a screen from RJ Minerva, but he attacks. Great backdoor cut by Magbuhos. Gets the basket.
Despite the fumble, that still counted as an assist by Diego Dario, number 4 in the game. Great find to Vince Magbuhos.
Baker's dozen lead for the Quezon Huskers. Tiburcio. Escoto for free. Off the heel. Pagaran with another board. Banal off the bounce. And Vince Magbuhos lays it up and in.
Despite being the younger team in terms of age, Marikina has been outrun by Quezon in this match.
Holding foul against Diego Dario as Maloles made his move. We have our assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
See, Gabanal hasn't scored in this game, but he's made his presence felt in different ways. 3 rebounds, couple of assists already for Gab sa laro na to.
Christian Pagkaran checks out. Francis.
I'm not sure if it's the lack of play calling or is it really just the great defense that Quezon has been putting on here against Marikina.
And after they made 2 threes to begin the quarter, they have not scored for the last 3+ minutes. Talking about Marikina, but they get the steal here.
That's a dangerous pass, especially if it's a small guy like Jomel Landayan running out. I know that you had a good intention to get that to that man who was forward up court, but still, if you're Marikina, you gotta make better decisions, especially because you're trying to catch up on these Quezon Huskers who are up by 15 points.
Already 17 turnovers against the Shoe Masters. Certainly not a recipe for success. They want to come back here. 18th turnover by Marikina. Kabanal. Swing pass. Tamsi. The flyby. The sidestep. The 3. Can't get it to fall. Banal through contact. They'll get 2 shots at the line.
They allow the miss, but they can't secure the defensive rebound. So the effort always goes for naught para dito sa Marikina because they can't seem to finish the job most of the time. And that's the reason why Quezon, every time that Marikina would threaten to try and come back into this one, would always be able to keep itong Quezon Husker or Marikina at bay.
Now GR is the official outfitter of the MPBL as we see Captain Marbel, our Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes. We have 2 more games in store for you, and both of them really exciting ones. Of course, the defending champions Pampanga will take on the dangerous Pangasinan Heatwaves. And then Caloocan, Batang Kangkalu will look to defend their home court once more against the Pasay Voyagers. Landayan for free. Banal with the rebound.
Oh, Marikina has only their 2 threes to show for here in this quarter as their only field goals here in the second half.
Oh, tagal-tagal na sila nanlamig dito. Been scoreless for almost 4 minutes already. Like we said, as we see here, chopping for position to si Sarao. He falls down on the floor. Bola mananatili sa panig ng Quezon. Baseline inbound. Tamsi. Napundo. Off the pick. Tamsi tried to locate JP Sarao. Duty foul given up by Alvin Abundo.
He had Zabale and Mike Machon already running forward. Jomel Landayan could not quite get it to them.
There's one guy that needs to step up, R.R. Casajeros, capable scorer.
It's the first time he's come back here into this game after starting sa ating laro.
Silas Zabale gets bumped. He'll head to the line.
But you're certainly right. You know, he's one of the guys that can certainly heat up in a hurry. Ito si R.R. Casajeros. And also one of the leaders on this team that Coach Eric C. looks to for scoring.
Their shot is good. So finally, they make a basket. Talking about Marikina. 48-34. But if you're the Shoe Masters, this is still a manageable lead.
Indeed.
Still a lot of time. Joshua Hierro, one-hander. Doesn't work. Machon. Oh, great pass. Landayan could not finish though. That was a great setup from Mike Machon. Instead, they gave an opportunity to Joshua Hierro to cash in from deep.
See, that's the problem when you're going up a team as good as Quezon. You force them into a mistake. You get an opportunity to run or maybe set up your offense in the half court. The thing is, if you're that team, you can't really, or there is no room for mistakes. Because once you commit another mistake, then the other team, in this case, Quezon, is out running on the other side, getting an easy basket for themselves, and you're quite sure that hindi nila sasayangan yung opportunity niyon. This time, it was a catch-and-shoot opportunity para kay Joshua Yero in transition.
Lead up to 17. Gawin mo ng 19. 5 straight points for the former Adamson Falcon, Joshua Yero. With exactly 3 minutes left here in the third quarter. Great setup job. Dempsey finding Yero inside. And this lead has ballooned now to 19, 53-34. We'll pause for a break.
Para sa 100% pag-unlad, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100% pagbabago, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100% paglilingkod, 15 si Manny. Para sa 100% Pinas,
50 tayo, 50 si MB. Nahati mo si Manny.
Check out our fan of the game brought to you by Suzuki. And that on the right side of your screens is the lovely daughter of Coach Nash Racela, na si Lauren. Always supportive of his dad. Of course, Jaggy is there at the background.
Yes, sir. The management team of the Quezon Huskers in attendance, always present here at the venue.
Siyempre, shoutout na rin natin, Attorney Don Kapunan.
I'm sure he's watching right now.
Oo, lagi yun. Walang mintis yun. Attorney Don. Turnaround jumper by Mike Machon. No good. One and done again by Marikina. Marikina so far has put up only 7 points to begin the third. JP Sarao just getting those fouls.
I tell you, he's a one-man wrecking crew. He might not be the most glamorous player, might not be the guy that can get you highlights just like Simon Sandagon, but he's so methodical when he breaks down the defense. When he's inside that paint, ang galing niyang gumamit ng pivot foot niya.
This free throw brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
Such a smart player to si JP Sarao. You know, that time playing with Coach Mike Sagigit last year certainly boosted his confidence. Best season so far here in the MPBL para kay JP Sarao, and I'm sure that definitely caught the eye of the Quezon Huskers.
This is the biggest lead for the Quezon Huskers at 21 points, 55-34. Casajeros, aggressive drive to the hoop.
It's time for him to try and be aggressive indeed in this game. Ito si R. Casajeros spent a lot of time on that bench in the first half.
Coach Eric C., former assistant coach of Valenzuela. Mark Casajeros at the line. One of the homegrowns here from Barangay Fortune, Marikina City.
Casajeros only played close to 5 minutes in the first half. Those are the first 5 minutes of the game. And then did not see action anymore after that.
Free throw shooting, 8 out of 18 lang for Quezon, while 11 out of 18 naman para dito sa Marikina. 55-35. Joshua Yero will settle things down para dito sa Quezon. And we love that Rafgo competing. Trying to battle position with JP Sarao there. The former Batangkila standout.
It's only going to be a matter of time before Go becomes a valuable piece here in the league.
Abundo. Right corner triple by Alfrancis Tamsi. His fourth free of the ball game.
That's the thing when you zone up against a very talented shooting team like Quezon. They're just going to toy you with those kinds of passes, moving the ball around from side to side. They go cross court. The challenge now for you is can you actually close out? Can you actually get there on time to challenge those shooters? Kung hindi naman, ang ginagawa ng Quezon, they go inside, outside, a lot of paint touches, and it goes without saying that they've been always successful in scoring inside the paint, led by guys like JP Sarao. That time it was a 3-point shot by Alfrancis Stamsi.
23-point lead, 58-35. Landayan is back in for Coach Eric C. 3-point shooting, 32% for Quezon, 8 out of 25. As we see Jomel Landayan turn the corner and score plus a foul.
Landayan was one of the very few guys who were trying to be aggressive in the first half para sa Marikina. Gave them a lot of opportunity through his playmaking.
He completes the 3-point play, chopping this lead down to 20 points, 58-38. Lagrama directing traffic for the Huskers here. Hierro, that pass intercepted. Marikina a chance in transition. Casajeros was met by Christian Pagaran. Both teams over the limit.
Foul on number 8, Christian Pagaran, penalties first.
RR back at the line.
Yeah, Marikina definitely has plans of going on a run. This is a very good time to do it. Try and close out the fourth quarter, maybe chip this to 17, 15 points heading into the fourth quarter. Make this more manageable for yourselves. That puts less pressure on you to try and chip away. I mean, you already know that you can come back from a 28-point lead. What's 15, 12 points in this game if you're at it?
And they did that against also a capable team in Val City.
Correct. That was definitely no pushover of a team. That team featured a lot of big names and veterans here in the MPBL.
From a high of 23, lead down to 18. Another stop. Landayan quickly, high off the glass, but can't finish. Quezon trying to make them pay, but Lagrama, that ball stolen away. Here's Landayan making up for his previous miss, lays it up and in.
You love the resiliency being shown there by Jomel Landayan. Oh, that should have been a push. That's an offensive foul, yes. So Jomel Landayan getting under the skin a bit here of topping Lagrama. That's number 4 against the Quezon homegrown.
Napastretch na lang sa bench si Coach Eric Gonzalez. And Jomel Landayan providing a positive impact in the last couple of minutes para dito sa Marikina. Diego Dario comes back in, trying to restore order here for the Quezon Huskers. Mashon has been trying that 3-point shot. Finally cashes in his first 3-point make.
Parang slingshot yung tira niya. This is just a 13-point lead.
So a 10-0 run for Marikina.
You love the fight being shown here by the Shoemasters.
Campanal, right corner triple. Pagaran, try to tip it in. Gets it back. Ball tapped out of bounds. Bola mananatili sa panig ng Quezon. Shot clock is off. Both teams no more fouls to give here in the quarter. Baseline inbound para dito sa Quezon. Diego Dario. 8 seconds remaining. Not a good foul if you're Jomel Landayan.
Foul on number 20, Jomel Landayan, penalties.
Basically, Dario had nowhere to go.
Exactly. Landayan already had him filtered going towards his big men in the paint. Instead of committing a foul, he was better off having his other teammates try and take care of a driving Diego Dario.
Shooting 2, Jagodario.
Jagodario spending almost a decade with UP. Played high school and college basketball there as we see his numbers in that game against Binyan.
And most of those points came in the second half, wherein he really controlled that game. Whether it was just scoring, or it wasn't just scoring, rather, it was also being able to facilitate and really orchestrate ang opensa ng Quezon.
Landayan, half-court heave! That had a good line! Almost! And third quarter comes to an end. But great finish to chop down the lead para dito sa Marikina as we see the highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
And Quezon coming out of the gates, really attacking the Marikina defense, but the Shoemasters seem to have changed their zone defense up a bit. Tinaasan na nila yung kanilang depensa. They're pressuring in the backcourt. The shooting of Quezon somewhat dwindled towards the latter part of that third quarter, which enabled Marikina to get a late run to finish the quarter.
And at the end of quarter number 3, our score is 59-45. Quezon just ahead by 14 points.
Para sa 100%'ong pag-unlad, para sa 100%'ong pagbabago, para sa 100%'ong paglilingkod, para sa 100% Pinas.
50 tayo, 50 si MB. Hati mo, si Manny.
Fan of the Game is brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. And we continue to celebrate International Women's Month. And itong Quezon, no? Nasusubukan ng bahagya dito. They were up by as many as 23 points in the third quarter, but a 10-1 run, making this a much more competitive game. Marikina just down by 14, 59-45. And our quarter scoring, we see 20-11 Quezon, 21-16, and then Marikina and Quezon locked at 18 points in that third.
For you watching the game, you know, you appreciate that Marikina, even if they're visibly outmatched on paper in terms of talent, nakita mo naman every quarter lumalaban sila at lumalaban. From 11 points to 16 and then 18 in the third quarter, their best period so far sa laro na to. Alam mo na hindi sila titigil na sumubok dito ng sumubok laban sa Quezon. But again, you know, if you're trying to get the victory, you have to be able to get on the objective side and judge where you're really making mistakes. It's not just about putting out that effort and fighting in the game, but you also have to think well.
Meanwhile, let's check in with Sydney Crespo.
Ken and Javi, you know, despite dominating the first half, the Quezon Huskers used up all their minutes at halftime, breaking down every lapse they needed to improve on and every play they needed to adjust. Sabi nga ni Coach Eric Gonzalez, they needed to be smart in the third quarter. Specifically, hindi daw bawal tumira sa labas, but if they take that three, they need to do it with confidence or make sure their safety. Sa kabilang banda naman, Coach Eric C. also wanted to play smart this game by letting Nem de la Cruz take a break. Na ilang laro na daw, Bugbog being their go-to guy. He says, ang dami kong guards, I need to give chance to others. While I shuffle, I'm also trying to be smart about our winnable games. What do you think, Ken Javi?
You know, Sydney, this could be a blessing in disguise for Marikina because you could find a gem in the rough. You know, Exhibit A, you see Jomel Landayan step up at the end of the third quarter. Meanwhile, we have a coach's challenge here with 9 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. We'll pause for a break. We'll be back for the result of the challenge.
Another challenge to use later in this game. Tama. Definitely ward off there by Gabanal.
So lead remains at 14 points.
By the way, Ken, before we proceed, di pala natin pwede kalimutan. We'd like to greet a very happy birthday to Operation Said Emerson Oreta. Happy birthday, boss.
Ayun naman, Boss Emer. Happy birthday. Another steal by Marikina here.
Quezon piling on the turnovers here.
Pailona up top. Peñano, long three-pointer, rattles out. Peñano inside, gets the scoop and the hoop.
Peñano was pivotal for Marikina against Valenzuela, pero dito nakakaapat na puntos pa lang siya.
Carl Peñano, 10 points, 6 rebounds in that game against Val City. 59-47. Gabanal gets the step but can't get the pass to Cabaini. In transition, Failona and Escoto did not connect on that. Ang dami lang ganun, Hapsi.
Exactly. A lot of opportunities to run out. I think the bounce pass would have been a better option right there para kay Jetro Escoto. But still, you know, these are the things that they will have to learn along the way. This is a young squad. And Failona also a new guy here in the league. I'm sure he's cherishing this opportunity to be able to play against all of these names in his very young career.
Only 23 years old, Terence Failona. Diego Dario gets past Escoto. Rebound by Tiburcio. Another chance for the Shoemasters. Failona. Entry pass. Peñano carving out space. Draws a foul against RJ Minerva.
I love that setup by Terence Failona. That's exactly what it means to know your teammates' strengths. And Peñano is very good when he gets it at the middle of the paint. And because he's a lefty, he likes to turn to that left side to finish near the basket.
Those were two former NU Bullpups going at it, Carl Peñano and RJ Minerva. Carl Peñano also played for Centro Escolar University. Golden chance to cut this lead down. Well, by 11 points na lang, no? As we see here, 8 of his 10 points in that pivotal fourth quarter, Coach Javi.
Yeah, joint forces with Mike Machon in that fourth period, along with Jetro Escoto. Those three guys, along with Nem de la Cruz, of course, really helped itong Marikina to outscore Valenzuela 31-15 in that fourth frame.
2 free throws missed though by Carl Peñano. Quezon yet to score here in the fourth quarter. 7.5 to go. Great entry pass. And JP Sarao, deep seal for the basket. 61-47. Escoto. Peñano gustong bumawi. Great defense by JP Sarao.
Now that's just pushing it. Excellent single coverage right there by JP Sarao. Oh, what a finish in transition. Al Francis Tamsi
turning defense into offense. Quezon balik sa 16 kang kalamangan nila dito. Carlo Velasco. In front of him is Al Francis Tamsi forcing the issue. And head to the line. As we check out our assist of the game, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Yeah, whatever happens in this game para sa Quezon, I'm sure that Coach Eric Gonzalez will not be happy with the various lapses that they've had here in the second half, particularly that stretch bridging the third quarter in the fourth period.
22 assists on 22 made field goals para dito sa Quezon Huskers. Is it? JP Sarao, yes.
Yeah, he's holding on to the back of his head. Mukhang natamaan siya. And he looks to be in a lot of pain.
This guy is tough as nails, JP Sarao.
Oh, di mo naman basta-basta mapapabagsak ito.
Still down, JP Sarao, but he's helped up by his teammates here. So let's see if this meets the criteria for an unsportsmanlike foul. Mike Machon.
Yeah, I don't think there was any intention based on the replay that we just watched, but I do believe that there is big reason for our referees to call this an unsportsmanlike foul.
Pwede kasing excessive contact.
Tama ka dyan.
Taking a good look. 6 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. Still a 16-point lead for Quezon. And later, we'll have the defending champions, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. They will square off against the Pangasinan Heat Waves. And then the Pasay Voyagers will try to spoil another homecoming by the Caloocan Batang Kangkalu. But we have a good game so far. Marikina, despite being winless, being competitive in this match against Quezon.
But they were down by as much as 23 points in this game. So the fighting spirit of the Marikina Shoemasters continuing to be in full display here at the start of the season. Again, we talked about it earlier in the game. They could have easily been at 3-1. They lost to Manila by just 4 points in their first game. They lost to Pampanga by just 2 points. And in their very last game, 3 points to Valenzuela.
Okay.
Upon
Hear it
review,
from Miguel
foul
Bray.
on number 19, JP Sarao. Penalty is second. Unsportsmanlike foul on number 1, Mike Machon. Mike Machon had an unsportsmanlike foul earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, Mike Machon has been assessed with game disqualification.
Ouch.
He had an unsportsmanlike foul against Christian Pagaran earlier. That was the landing spot foul.
Oh, yeah. So Mike Machon will exit early, finishing with 8 points, 5 rebounds.
Couldn't quite duplicate the performance that he had against his former team, Valenzuela. But hindi na rin kasi naging girian nila. Ayun, no? Nakahawak rin kasi si JP Sarao sa kanya. So he was trying to get away from him. Yan yung tinatry contest ni Coach Eric C. ngayon. But I don't think there's any way for Marikina to have this call reversed. I think the call is final.
Coach Eric C. in disbelief, obviously.
Ayun, no? They're really trying to argue that nauna yung hawak. He was being held down. And the reason why Machon kind of reacted that way, I don't think there was any intention to hit the head. Talagang sinusubukan niya lang talaga kumawala.
So free throws will be given to Carl Peñano. Dahil penalty na itong Quezon. So he'll take the free throws for Mike Machon, who just got ejected in this ball game. And then 2 more free throws para dito sa Quezon after that unsportsmanlike foul against Mike Machon.
Yeah, plus ball possession.
2 free throws for JP Sarao, plus ball possession.
Nakalapit na ditong Marikina. They were able to trim the gap to as low as 12 points. JP, mintes yung una.
Well, free throws have certainly not been good for Quezon this afternoon. It's a horrible 9 out of 20 as a team.
Split at the line for JP Sarao.
Kahit naman nung laro nila against Binyan, Quezon also went just 8 out of 14 from the charity stripe.
Great pass down low, JP Sarao. That's a 3-point swing for Quezon.
Pero dito naman kasi talaga bumabawi ang Quezon. Their execution in the half court has been pristine, to say the least.
Lead back up to 17. Velasco. Landayan steps back. In trouble. Velasco in traffic. And gets it up. Gets fouled.
Talk about being strong with the basketball there. Carlo Velasco drawing the foul.
Our play of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Quezon made sure that coming into this season that the pieces that they added would very well mesh with the current core that they already have para coming into the season. Chemistry wouldn't be so much of a problem anymore, and you've seen that so far in the games that they have. You saw that in that previous play. The passing has been impeccable. Most of the time para dito sa Quezon, yung assist total nila talagang mataas every game. Currently, they have 24 in this game.
24 assists on 24 field goal makes para dito sa Quezon. Another steal. The 14th steal actually for Marikina. They get the ball back, but Tiburcio was caught stepping on the baseline, much to the chagrin of Coach Eric C.
Technically, this is still very much possible. Just under a shade under 6 minutes to play here. A 16-point lead. If Marikina can get a couple of stops here consecutively and get consecutive buckets as well after that, then the complexion of this ball game may very well change.
Especially with Quezon, they haven't been sharp here in the second half. But as I say that, great pass by Tamsi to Sarao, but could not finish underneath.
Yeah, don't worry, Ken, you weren't wrong. They weren't sharp there on that shot. JP Sarao wasn't.
Bailona on the left side, three-pointer, bounces out. Rebound cleared by Vince Magbuos. Medyo nag-stall na rin yung offense dito ng Quezon eh. Joshua Yero trying to fix that, but can't get that three-pointer to drop.
This little man zone that Marikina has come up with has really helped Quezon miss a lot of their shots dahil na parang naninibago na sila dun sa depensa nakikita nila eh.
Peñano will head back to the line after being fouled by JP Sarao.
Because it's like a combination of both. You still have your players guarding specific areas of the floor, but usually what they do, what I've noticed is when the center comes up to maybe set a screen, sumusunod rin yung sentro ng Marikina.
Peñano. Pasok yung unang free throw. The close losses for the Shoemasters. Apart from that blowout loss against Abra, lost by 4 against Manila, lost by just 2 points against the defending champions Pampanga. In that last loss against Val City, just by 3 points. But here, down by 14, but still a lot of fight left in them. Past the halfway point of quarter number 4. Skip pass, Joshua Yero. Magbuos facing up. Cross court. Tamsi for 3. Rebound by Failona. Mandayan tries to turn the corner. Tiburcio, great fake. Peñano in the paint. Tried to dish it off to Landayan. Velasco in trouble. Peñano just carving out space, but they could not finish at the rim.
Just could not hit the open man on that possession itong Marikina. Nakakawala sila sa depensa, but every time Quezon would always get to rotate on that guy, meron nalilibreng isa eh, pero di nakikita ng Marikina.
Under 4 minutes remaining. Alvin Abundo.
That's a warm-up shot.
Yep, libre-libre.
First basket of the game para sa kanya.
68-52. Marikina running out of time here. Landayan, hand off. Tiburcio back to Failona. He drives, loses control of the basketball. Turnover against the Shoemasters. Dario, Pagaran, and Tagle checking in for Coach Eric Gonzalez. Yes, they try to put on the finishing touches here. 3 minutes and 24 seconds remaining here in regulation. Dario will milk the clock for Quezon. And that entry pass at the elbow. Tagle, free for a free. Marikina, still some life here. Approaching the 3-minute mark of the fourth. Landayan, shut down by Tagle. Tiburcio, quick free. And the threes have not been falling in the fourth quarter para dito sa Marikina. Pagaran, swing pass, Tagle. Dario, open, three-pointer. Bounces out. Hierro falls down. Foul against Marikina.
And now Quezon going back to the reason they were able to establish a huge lead. It's moving that basketball around and really trying to get Marikina to commit mistakes defensively. Doon sila talagang nagpa-pounce on.
Quezon will call for time here. They're up by 16, 68-52.
Para sa 100%'ong pag-unlad, para sa 100%'ong pagbabago, para sa 100%'ong paglilingkod, para sa 100%'ong Pinas.
50 tayo, 50 si MB. Kahati mo, si Manny.
Back with us here inside the Caloocan Sports Complex. JP Sarao, laban sa Binyan, only had 3 points, played just over 10 minutes. But here, a much better outing, 16 points, 7 rebounds, efficient shooting from the field, and 75% from the free throw line.
Dito talaga, he capitalized on a lot of those opportunities to get those bounce passes, especially on those high-low situations. And when he gets it in the middle of the paint, he's always been able to capitalize on those opportunities by using those post moves that he already has in his bag. A lot of them drop steps, pivot moves, the like, and that's why he's been able to score efficiently in this game.
Eman Tagle,
That just might do it.
drilling that three. And that could be the dagger. Timeout Marikina with 2 minutes and 31 seconds left here. And the Quezon Huskers have upped this lead to 19 points. As we see here, great setup job. Diego Dario off that flare screen by Hierro, freeing up Eman Tagle for that three-pointer. And Eman Tagle giving Quezon a 19-point lead.
Para sa atletang Pilipino.
Para sa kabataang Pilipino.
Para sa kababaihan, para sa pamilyang Pilipino.
Para sa kinabukasan. At ito po ang MPBL Party List number 77 sa balota.
Head of Security, Rudy Distrito, and Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes. Quezon looking good and on their way to their 4th straight victory to begin the season. Marikina, unfortunately, unless a miracle of epic proportions happens here, down 19.
Oh,
Great block from behind. Was that Pagaran?
yes. And the front line that Quezon has right now, all very long-limbed and possessing athletic ability. But that's going to change right now. There's a new player in para dito sa Quezon.
This is Steven Kudal sending it to Landayan. Jared Sevilla is in for the Quezon Huskers. One-hander by Kudal. Sevilla off the bench, grabs the rebound as we are down to our last 2 minutes. Diego Davio still on the floor for the Quezon Huskers. Sevilla, three-point shot on its way, off the mark. Forward pass, Jomel Landayan takes that free. Doesn't work. Fight for the ball. Sevilla, second rebound.
Everybody from that Quezon bench, even the guys who are not suited up, all cheering for Sevilla to try and contribute some numbers on the stat line para sa laro na to. He still has a minute and 20 to do that. He already has a couple of rebounds.
Quezon, one of 4 teams this season, as we see RJ Minerva down on the floor after getting hit by Steven Kudal. Quezon, one of 4 teams opening the season undefeated here, along with Rizal, Pampanga, who will play against Pangasinan later. Let's see this play again. Babanggaan si RJ at si Steven. Mukhang hindi naman pipituan ng unsportsmanlike dito si Steven Kudal. Paisia also unbeaten in 4 games. I think Coach Christian Luanzon talked to us about nung previous season, we were seeing a team like, as we see, Eman Tagle drilling in that three. Pampanga was undefeated for the majority of the season. But here, like we said, it's a wide open race to the top.
Tama ka dyan. It's definitely a more balanced field that we have. So this season, Pampanga isn't anymore the team that we used to fear. Obviously, it was very different when they had Balti Baltazar, Enzo Serrano, and then of course backstopping them, Archie Concepcion, and their army of big men in MJ Garcia, also their lead point guard in last year's roster. This year, there's still a strong squad. Ito defending champions, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. But the other teams have beefed up further. Alam nila na kailangan na talaga nila magpalakas ng todo kung gusto talaga nila mag-contend for the championship.
You know, it's one thing to remain undefeated, but it's another thing the way they were able to beat their opponents, especially Batangas City and Binyan. Those were really statement wins, Javi, for them. We saw them beat Batangas on their home floor by 22 points.
Yeah, that was certainly a rude awakening in the home opener of the Tanduay Rum Masters. And they really established themselves early in this season.
But those teams in the South Division, really interesting. Batangas City, 2-2 record. Basilan still struggling, but you know the talent level that they have as we see Silas Sabales score plus a foul para sa Marikina.
And tama ka dyan. You know, Basilan, they've been struggling in the early part of this season. They've been up against some strong teams, but the team has only been together for quite some time. Alam mo na meron pang mga chemistry issues na kailangan i-address, but these guys, they know how to win.
Great move. The game is brought to you by Suzuki. That was Silas Sabale. That basket. We have a coach's challenge late here. 18.1 seconds left. Game pretty much decided. Coach Eric not resting his laurels here. Coach Eric Gonzalez, that is. We'll pause for a break. We'll be back for the result of the challenge.
Upon review, the challenge was inconclusive. Therefore, the challenge has been...
Napatawa si Coach Nash. Inconclusive daw yung challenge.
Tingnan natin dito. This was the rebound play. Silas Sabale right there, trying to go for that shot. Ayun, bumagsak si Tagle. And yeah, it's really hard to tell.
It's tough. You see Silas Sabale shooting the bonus here. Free throws for both teams actually have been a problem. And fouled by Silas Sabale with 15.9 seconds remaining.
And Marikina only shooting 19 out of 30 from the charity stripe. Quezon is 10 out of 22. That's under 65% and 45% respectively.
Marikina about to fall down to their 5th straight loss. Quezon on the other hand, 4 wins, no losses to begin their campaign. They will tie up Rizal at the top of the South Division team standings here. And that's gonna do it for our first game. Valiant effort for the Marikina Shoemasters. They were able to trim the gap to as low as 12 points late in the 3rd quarter, but Quezon just pushing the right buttons. Coach Er Gonzalez and the rest of the Huskers notch another win under their belt. And see here Marikina, just missing Nem De La Cruz and Jonel Bauzon proved to be really costly for them, Javi.
Well, I think for Coach Eric C, he's still trying to look at the bigger picture. This will be a very good learning experience for his young squad. Our best player can be picked, although JP Sarao had a equally good game at 16 points as well. But Al Francis Tamsi was really the guy who set the tone, starting in this game and knocking down a couple of 3-point shots to begin the match. That really started it all para sa Quezon. And whenever Marikina was threatening to come close, Tamsi was the one who hit those big shots.
The best player of the game is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Final score po natin, 74-54. The Quezon Huskers win this one by 20 points. Let's check in with Sydney Crespo.
Yes, Ken and Javi, kasama ko nga para sa Quezon Huskers ang kanilang best player of the game, Al Francis Tamsi. Tamsi, first of all, congratulations. 4 na 3 points ang ginawa mo ngayong gabi. Pero pag-usapan natin yung laro, no? Lamang kayo sa talent at experience. Pero sinubukan bumalik ng Marikina sa larong ito, especially nung 3rd quarter. Pero sa tingin mo, ultimately, ano ang nangibabaw in this game?
Ayun, nangibabaw lang yung gusto namin manalo, and ayun, tinatrabaho namin yung consistency namin sa game. Lalo na yung goal talaga namin maging defensive team.